is Scott Alford, and I'm the Workload Automation Account Manager covering Michigan, Indiana, and Pennsylvania. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to let me share a little bit with you about what we are hearing in the marketplace and where we are heading with Control M. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the journey of going digital and how BMC is the right partner to help you get there. Technology is moving at an outstanding rate. The only way to be competitive in the digital economy is to focus on innovation and automation. And the way to do that is by transforming it into a digital enterprise. So, how do we help customers in 2020 and beyond? Well, let's talk a little bit about it. Everyone wants to go digital, but why do companies have to go digital to be more competitive? It's a good question. Well, one reason is that they need to provide value and positive business outcomes back to the business. But we all know the real reason is that companies that go digital make more money. As this slide here illustrates, by 2020, 80% of business processes and products will be either reinvented, digitalized, or eliminated altogether. Think about that. Profit margins will grow at 3 times the speed of today. So in order to answer that question on how we are going to help people in the future, we need to take a look back and understand how we got to where we are today. If we look at how the infrastructure evolved, we had the mainframes come out in the 1960s, and then distributed systems 30 years later in the 90s. We then went to virtualization quickly thereafter, and then went to software-defined everything in the cloud. The big deal here is that when the application requests to provision more systems, there are no longer people involved. And anytime you take people out of the equation, you'll see improvement. SDN automates everything. So every time these quantum leaps have happened with technology and infrastructure, we as a company evolved and had to change. Just like we had to do with infrastructure, we had to do with data. So let's talk about big data. Everything we do today is about moving that data. This evolution happened in the application layer as well. So we started with monolithic applications on the mainframe, as you can see here, and then evolved into client-server applications running on distributed systems. Then went to the web and mobile applications. Today, it's all about agile applications, as we all know. And if you think about it, this evolution is a different perspective about moving faster. And if you think about this, digital is about moving fast. So all these things must come together. And if you think about it, Control M has been the nexus of infrastructure, data, and applications. This is how enterprises are more competitive by going digital. What customers call what we do has changed over the years. We changed from batch processing, we then called it job scheduling, and then we called it workload automation. And obviously it looks like we're going to change this again. But every time the name has changed, we fundamentally have evolved the way we deliver value to our customers based on the new waves of technology. So if we look at the next slide here, by 2019, 74% of IT operations will have embraced SDN. By 2020, people will be creating and storing 1.7 megabytes per second of data. This data, keep in mind, will not all be stored on your company systems, and the speed of everything is going to increase dramatically. Studies state that companies that embrace DevOps release applications 200% more frequently than companies that haven't. Think what that means in terms of competitive advantage. We believe this is all about automating the digital enterprise business. That is what we do. So let's switch gears here and talk about how we manage infrastructure, data, and applications. Throw up a slide here that shows you New York skyline back in 1900s versus the new city of today. And I'd ask you what has changed here. And obviously, most people look at it and say, well, obviously the buildings are taller, skyscrapers, there's more people, there's a lot more in that same area. But the one thing that hasn't changed is that underlying infrastructure, and that would be the subway system. We're still moving millions and millions of people a day utilizing the same infrastructure underneath. So digital business automation. So let's talk about how we believe this new wave digital business automation is responsible for tackling three main challenges around diverse infrastructure, disparate data, and accelerated applications. For diverse infrastructure, the challenge is managing business processes during the transition to a multi-sourced hybrid cloud software-defined infrastructure environment. For disparate data, the challenge is all about automating the massive amount and variety of data coming from many disparate sources to effectively utilize data lakes and operationalize that data for stakeholders across the entire enterprise. Then for accelerated applications, the challenge is to ensure applications and updates transition from DevOps to operations with the quality, scalability needed to deploy and operationalize enterprise-ready applications, obviously. So let's first talk about infrastructure. We've released Control-M on AWS in the cloud. At the click of a button, in about 3 seconds, you can provision Control-M to run in the cloud or right back to the infrastructure. Keep in mind with our license model, even if you purchase a certain quantity to run here, decide later to run it over there, you're protected. Your investment won't be completely thrown out. One example of this is Uno. They've been a customer of ours for many years. During those years, a lot has transformed. A lot changed. They moved from running almost everything on the mainframe to running almost everything off the mainframe. At the same time, a big part of their transformation was allowing business user access. So rather than having to go through IT operations for everything that they needed done, they're now allowing their business users to request things to be automated. The number of things they automated as a result went sky high, 600% at a minimum. But the business value that was driven went even higher. And whether they're running in the mainframe or distributed or in the cloud is completely irrelevant as they continue their journey towards digital transformation. So now let's talk a little bit about disparate data. The right data needs to be in the right place at the right time. This is one of the places where our product managed file transfer comes into play. One example of that is Navistar. This is where big data and Internet of Things come together. With Navistar, every truck that they sell new has over 100 sensors built in that collect data. From these sensors are able to get insight into the health of every single vehicle. This gives them the ability to be able to estimate when a failure is going to occur instead of waiting for that failure to occur. They can alert the driver to the nearest repair location that has the parts that are relevant to the failure. So before the failure actually occurs, the truck can get repaired. And at the heart of all that, Control-M. All the movement, all the processing of the data to help them drive that business value is within Control-M. So unplanned repairs are down by 30%. Think what that means to business. They now have 5 times faster actionable data. At the core of this is a 20,000 job application that is completely automated by Control-M. Finally, let's talk about accelerated applications. We announced Application API earlier this year. It's a very different way for developers to build automation into their applications. So rather than the DevOps group processes being slowed down by the developers that build that application, we get ahead of the process and automate what they do. IT Ops has no visibility into what's happening there. Now developers can build Control-M automation into their application. Job definitions get created as source code. They get stored as source code. It's very natural for the way the developers create things. But then as part of this development process, the jobs become part of the flow. So developers do it the way they like to do it. The speed is accelerated dramatically, but compliance, manageability, auditability, and tracking, and everything we care about in operations is also there. So we get the best of both worlds. One example of this would be a large retailer you might recognize in here. They reduced the time it takes to make changes from 3 hours, 3 seconds. But more importantly, that allowed them to triple the number of stores that were able to handle delivery for online shopping. and it allowed them to grow holiday sales by 42% year over year. It's pretty significant, right? Well, I hope that I was able to give you a little bit of an explanation on what it means for companies to go digital and how we've helped many companies on their journey with their digital transformation. I look forward to continuing the conversation with you guys in the near future, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you very much.